First of all, good morning to all of you. Hope that you all are doing well. I, Nirali Mehta from Electrical Department TPI. Welcome to all the viewers for this webinar session of Basics of Energy Conservation and Energy Audit. Here, I would like to invite Mr. Manpreet Singh, who is General Manager of the projects, as well as he is working for AAD Tech India Private Limited. He is having more than 15 years of experience field of plant maintenance, electrical system designing, management, energy auditing, energy conservation, trainings of energy management, energy conservation, erection, commissioning of electrical systems and all utility systems for chemical, pharma plants, power projects, DOPP, production line, metallizer, coating lines, etc. He has done his BTech in electrical engineering and certified and accredited energy auditor from Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power, Government of India. He is certified lead auditor in ISO 5001 systems. Manpreet Singh is having experience of more than 300 energy audits in chemical, paper, pharma, iron, sugar, aluminum, power plants, engineering, auto, plastic, foundry, forging, steel, cement sectors, and 100 training programs as faculty on energy management. He has worked for organizations like Trident Group, Max India Limited, the Energy and Resource Institute. Manpreet sir, please give us the brief knowledge regarding the basics of energy conservation and energy audit. Over to you, sir.
Right. Thank you very much. So, hello everyone. I am Manpreet Singh. Introduction has been given by Ms. Nirali. Ms. Nirali, thank you very much. So today we will discuss about basics of energy conservation and energy auditing. Energy conservation, energy auditing is a very hot topic these days because every organization wants to increase their profits, and energy is one of the major component like where they can save and they can increase their profits. So today in next 1 hour we will discuss like what is energy audit, what is energy conservation, what are the different areas where we can save energy, what are the opportunities, what are the opportunities for fresh engineers or new engineers in this field. So I hope I will try to cover each and every topic in detail.
Manpreet sir,
Yeah.
can you please turn on your camera, video?
My screen is visible to you. So
Yeah.
if I'll do both, there will be issue of bandwidth.
Okay, that's okay, sir.
Yeah. So if we discuss about basic definition of energy management, what energy management is defined as, it is strategy of adjusting and optimizing energy using systems and procedure as to reduce energy requirement per unit of output while holding constant or reducing total cost of producing the output from the system. Means whenever we are discussing about energy audit, energy conservation or energy saving, this means whatever we are producing the output remains the same, at same output, how much we can reduce energy saving. That is the major part of energy management. I'll take a very simple example. Like we are manufacturing cars. We are in a plant which is manufacturing car, and per car we are consuming around 1,000 units. So when we do energy reduction or energy conservation in that plant, and say if plant is daily producing 1,000 cars, so we have to reduce energy consumption per car, keeping 1,000 cars daily. Say our target should be, if presently we are consuming 1,000 unit per car for manufacturing of one car, within same parameter and everything remains the same, how we can reduce energy consumption to 900 units, means how we can reduce 100 units. So in energy auditing, an energy auditor will visit the industry. He will see how much energy is consumed in which area and how we can reduce this consumption. So in energy management, we have to see like how optimally we can procure the energy, how we can utilize, and how we can minimize the cost or the losses. So in industry, in buildings, in residential area, there are lot of areas where we are wasting the energy. So in energy auditing, we see how we can reduce this energy cost and how we can minimize this waste. So every area where we are consuming energy, we have to answer some basic question like how much energy is consumed. Like if I'll take example of your university. So first of all, if we have to do energy auditing of say your university or your building, so we will first ask how much energy is your consumed, what is your energy bill, how energy is consumed means what are the areas where you are consuming energy, in hostels, in buildings, in your office area, in your air conditioning, in your pumping, where this energy is being consumed, and when it is consumed and what is the quantity. So first of all, we should identify where we are consuming the energy. Then we are verifying and monitoring. Like I will take example of another car, a car which is say on 1 liter it is consuming, it will run for approximately 20 kilometer per liter, a simple audit of a four-wheeler. And when we see actually on when we purchase, it is written as 20 kilometer per liter, but actually when we drive the car, we will see it will run sometimes 18 kilometer per liter when we are on highway. When we are in city, it is sometimes 16 kilometer per liter, sometimes it is 19 kilometer per liter. So basically energy audit is verification, monitoring and analysis of energy being used. And whenever we are doing energy auditing or in this field, so we have to first verify, monitor and analyze use of energy. Then we need to submit a technical report with recommendation what are the areas and how we can save energy, how much we can say cost it will occur to implement that thing, and what will be the return on investment. So in 2000, when government of India made one energy conservation act, in which like they defined we have to save energy, they defined norms for energy intensive industries. There are some sectors, 14-15 sectors, which consume 50% of industrial energy. So they defined energy intensive industries named as DCs, designated consumers. They done something like standard and labeling, we will discuss in detail. They made energy conservation building code, ECBC, and they done something on demand side and certification of energy professionals like certified energy auditors and certified energy managers. In this act, they made like this. and they established Bureau of Energy Efficiency who will implement all these acts as per 2000 EC Act 2001. So the major function of BE was like how we can uh, do some activities in India in which we can save electricity or fuel. So they made state designated agencies. Then they done many activities, trainings, auditing, like how we can do energy audit in the industry and save energy. So B has done many awareness programs, energy conservation awards, star rating of appliances. For large industries, they come up with a scheme of PAT in which they given target to each and every industry. Like say, a paper industry is presently consuming 700 units per ton of paper. So now you have to reduce your energy bill by 5%, means 650 units per ton of paper. Similarly for cement, textile, power plant. So they done many activities in India to reduce the energy consumption. Like ECBC code, they made they given targets to to buildings, like how they should design the building which will consume minimum energy consumption. So this B is the wholesale agency who is working in India for energy conservation from government of India. Then BEE done star labeling. Star labeling means for each and every equipment they define how much efficient is this equipment. अगर हम लोग एक नॉर्मल हाउस होल्ड कोई पर्सन है उसकी डिस्कशन करते हैं, दे आर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन. मीन्स if we need to tell them like this is efficient equipment, this is not efficient equipment, it is difficult for a person to understand. So what government has done, they made a star labeling. They have given stars to each and every equipment based upon some energy consumption parameters, like 1 2 3 4 5 star. It is very simple. अगर कोई equipment 5 star है, that is most efficient equipment. If some system is 1 star, it is least efficient equipment. And government has made a rule like no one can make equipment less than 1 star. There are equipment which are more efficient than 5 star, and every year government is changing this labeling levels also. Might be today's 5 star, next year it will become the 3 star. So for normal people like us, government made some basic things, like they have done star labeling on television, geysers, washing machines, many other equipments. So जो नॉर्मल लोग हैं कंट्री में, दे शुड अंडरस्टैंड एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन एंड दे शुड बाय एनर्जी एफिशिएंट इक्विपमेंट. सो दे हैव डन स्टार लेबलिंग फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट. देन now if we come to our topic, like why we need energy audit. Energy audit, if like we discussed, there are three top operating expenses. One is energy, labor and material for any industry. So people understand कि हमें labor कितनी चाहिए for this activity, how they can reduce labor, how they can optimize the material. But energy consumption and energy saving, this is a very technical topic. So energy audit will directly reduce energy costing for any production. So this is like I mentioned in the starting, this is a hot topic in India, like how we can save energy for our industry. So we are creating benchmark for industry. Like if when you will learn in next years, there are benchmarks for each and everything in India for most of the equipments. Like if we are producing any equipment in India, say a car or tractor or truck or a fridge, so every company has made norm for each and every equipment this much of energy we should consume. That is benchmark. If we consume more than this, means there is some wastage of energy or something is happening. If we consume less than this, means we have improved, and there are benchmark internationally available, in India level also available. So every large industry is continuously working on this benchmark to maintain their energy cost. So during energy audit, there are many tangible benefits. First is the energy consumption. Second is the better control over quality. Means when we run our equipment, or when we producing the equipment in a controlled manner, so the quality of equipment will be better. There will be savings on raw material consumption, better equipment life, and greenhouse. There will be less greenhouse gas emission. And there are intangible benefits. Intangible benefits like tangible benefits are in terms of money. Yes, we save something in terms of energy or in fuel. Intangible benefit is the knowledge or experience, or whenever we are purchasing any new equipment or any new factory we are designing, there we can use this knowledge. We can go for alternate fuel like when we start, say when in railways, initially we were using coal, then we started using diesel, then it is electric, now it is solar trains. So in industry, first we were using different types of fuels for heating, like initially it was coal, then pet coke, then some are using diesel, some are using furnace oil, some are using these days natural gas. So all these are fuel changes. Every fuel has some benefits, some disadvantages. Like if now most of the industries, government is trying to convert into natural gas, NG. In household also they are putting pipelines. So because gas is a clean fuel, it has less environmental problems, less pollution. So when we understand, when we study more about energy saving or energy consumption, we will come to know the better things which are going, like in electrical vehicles. In vehicles now we are moving to electrical vehicles, which are non-polluting equipment, non-polluting vehicles. So there are many intangible benefits when we are working in this field or we are doing energy audits. So typically, energy audits in industry or in building are of three types. First is the preliminary energy audit or walkthrough, in which basically energy auditor visits. He will go through the complete factory or building. He or she will see like what are the opportunities based upon his experience, and give a preliminary report like these are the areas where we can save energy and this much will be the approximate investment. Second is the targeted energy audit. Sometimes it is happening like in one of the areas we are focusing on energy consumption, like we can focus only on HVAC part, like air conditioning, chiller part, or we can focus on one of the area, like in university, like, or in the office, the admin building is mostly occupied or the hostel is mostly occupied. So we should focus on one area where more energy is being consumed. Third one is the detailed energy audit. Detailed energy audit, in this audit we cover each and every aspect of energy, each and every type of energy. Like industries are consuming many types of fuels, electricity, and other things. Many types of equipment, electrical, mechanical, thermal. So, in detailed energy audit, every area is being checked for energy consumption. So, Energy audit cannot be done without instrument. For measuring efficiency of equipment, with respect to equipment, we would be require many type of instruments, and these instruments are very costly. In normal industry or buildings, these instruments not available. So, like if you want to measure all electrical parameters in your system, like what is the voltages in three phase, what are the voltages with respect to neutral, what are the harmonic level, power factor, kVH, kVAR. So we are having a power quality analyzer, this equipment. So this equipment we can connect to any electrical system, and it will record, it will show the electrical parameters of that equipment or that system. We have equipment named as flue gas analyzer. This analyzer can check what are the flue gas composition, like when we burn some fuel in boiler or in furnace, what is the oxygen level in the exhaust gases, what is the carbon dioxide, what is the carbon monoxide, what is the temperature. So we cannot measure the parameters with naked eyes or with our hands. We would be required many instruments, like hot wire anemometer is the instrument to measure the velocity or the flow of air. Pressure gauges to measure the pressure in the pipelines. One normal equipment you have everyone seen, the thermal imager. Now these days, for the corona, everyone is measuring temperature, even doctors and other, all where we have this infrared temperature gun. Like these types of instruments can measure temperature up to 1000 degree, 1500 degrees. So without touching the equipment, we can measure the temperature of surface. Lux meter is used for measuring the lux level in any room. So there are many equipments, like if we have to measure the flow of a pipeline, say a pipeline is going of say 300 in which water is flowing. So how we can measure the water? So we have a meter named as ultrasonic flow meter. So it is in the last line, you can see with this instrument we can measure the water flow in any pipeline without cutting it or without inserting anything. So these instruments are very helpful to energy auditor who is measuring the system efficiency. So like you can see some pictures, like in middle picture you can see on this pipeline, if we install ultrasonic flow meter like this, we will be able to understand how much flow is going on. Like if we need to measure the electrical parameters or we have to do the thermal imaging. So all these instruments are helpful for an energy auditor to understand what is actually going into the system. So by measuring the things, we can see like how much energy is being consumed, where it is consumed, what is the efficiency of equipment, how we can improve it. So we can work in different manners, like somewhere energy is being generated, somewhere energy is being transmitted or distributed. So you people are mostly from the electrical background. So I'll take example. In India, we have energy generation at different power plants. We have different types of power plant. We have nuclear, we have thermal, we have hydro, we have wind turbines. So different types of power plants are there. So when Gujarat is being a very good industry, there is no issue of power. I have read many things about your state's electrical distribution system. Most of the power plants are running under load. You have enough capacity in terms of energy. But there are many states like UP or Bihar or sometimes it was Punjab also, where we were energy deficient. So now you see most of the energy is being generated in say Chhattisgarh or some other states where coal is available in abundance. So in India, if you will study, we have a generation capacity of 3.5 lakh megawatt approximately, which is daily changing. Now, this energy is being transmitted from one power plant to another power plant, another load center where we are consuming energy. So, approximately in India, we have losses of 17 to 20%. Means 17 to 22% of the total generation is being lost in the system. If I need power in UP and which is coming from say Bihar or Chhattisgarh, it is 1,000 kilometer. So 1,000 kilometer of transmission will waste a lot of energy. So we have opportunities for energy saving first at the generation stage. When we are generating energy, how much coal we require for generation of one unit, how we can reduce it. So there are many opportunities in power plants to study. When you will learn a little bit in the later stage, like in power plants there are furnaces, there are ID fans, there are FD fans, there are pumps, there are cooling towers. So every equipment there is benchmarking for every megawatt of energy, this much equipment should consume, this much should be the percentage of value which that equipment should consume. Say for every power plant, if it is generating say 100 megawatt, 7 to 8 megawatt energy is being consumed in the power plant to generate that 100 megawatt. मीन्स 7-8% एनर्जी हम लोग पावर प्लांट के इक्विपमेंट्स में ही कंज्यूम कर लेते हैं, जो भी एनर्जी वो पावर प्लांट जनरेट कर रहा है. नाउ देयर आर वेज और देयर आर टेक्निक्स इन विच वी कैन रिड्यूस. सम ऑफ द पावर प्लांट्स आर कंज्यूमिंग 10 to 12% of energy. Some are consuming only 6-7%. Some are consuming 8-9%. So we should understand at generation side what is the optimum consumption of power by a power plant, what are the losses that power plant is occurring. Then is the transmission or distribution. when we are studying, एक क्वेश्चन बड़ा नॉर्मली हम लोगों को फर्स्ट ईयर सेकेंड ईयर में पढ़ाया जाता है कि वाई वी आर इंक्रीजिंग द वोल्टेज ड्यूरिंग ट्रांसमिशन. दिस क्वेश्चन इज वेरी नॉर्मल. तो आंसर इज हम लोग लिखते हैं कि वी हैव टू रिड्यूस द लॉसेस. सो एट दैट टाइम हमें ये नहीं पढ़ाया जाता कि व्हाट इज क्वांटम ऑफ दैट लॉस. If we understand the quantum, then it is easy for us to understand, like we are discussing about this much of amount. In India, we have transmission at 220 kV, 400 kV, 765 kV, and at 1100 kV also experiment is going on. So higher the voltage, lower the current and lower the losses. We understand I square R losses, copper losses in the system. So that is why the voltage, जितनी भी transmissions होती हैं, that are at higher voltages, very very higher voltages. In industry also, if we take voltage, input voltage at high, the electricity rate is less for us. So in energy conservation, we focus on each and every area, on generation side, on distribution side, and on the usage side also. Like how we can optimally use that energy. And whenever we are giving solutions for implementation of something, so that solution is based upon many factors, like how much investment is required, any civil cost is required or not, what will be the ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट इज आफ्टर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, सेविंग्स कैसे होंगी, थर्मल होगी, इलेक्ट्रिकल होगी, एनीथिंग. सो energy conservation, like I mentioned, major is the specific reduction in specific energy consumption. हम लोग कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, कोई भी एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं, पर यूनिट, पर system we are producing, how much energy consumption we are doing. In buildings जहाँ पे visitors आते हैं, banks हैं, the benchmark is like energy consumption per person. Like you can do energy audit in your hostel and you can benchmark energy consumption per person. Like if your hostel is having 200 person and every month you are consuming 1000 unit, means per person is consuming 5 unit. In one hostel it will be 5, in another hostel it will be 6, in another hostel it can be 4 also. So this is the benchmarking. First we should understand for each and every area which energy is being consumed and how much energy is being consumed. So based upon this differentiation we can compare it with the international standards also, and we can do the energy savings. So there are many ways in which energy is being consumed. First is the capacity utilization. Capacity utilization means मेरे पास जो capacity है उसी capacity को पहले मैं 100% कंज्यूम करूंगा. मैं एग्जांपल लेता हूं फिर आपके कॉलेज की हॉस्टल की. से योर हॉस्टल इज डिजाइंड फॉर 100% and it is fully occupied. You are using mess for 100%, you are using common area for 100%, air conditioning and everything's for the 100%. Now another hostel is in your campus is occupied for 50 people, but it is designed for 100 people. Now same campus or same mess or same common area is being used for 50 people. Definitely the energy consumption for hostel B, where 50 students are residing, the energy consumption will be more as compared to hostel A, because my fixed losses or the fixed energy consumption in common area or in mess or in corridors or for pumping remains the same. So first thing, in industry or in hostels or in buildings everywhere is the capacity utilization. We should consume 100% of the capacity to optimize the energy consumption. कोई भी equipment जो मेरा एक particular आउटपुट के लिए डिजाइंड है, पर्टिकुलर आउटपुट और उसके लिए डिजाइंड है, तो इट शुड रन ऑन द सेम कैपेसिटी. सेकेंड इज द फाइन ट्यूनिंग ऑफ द इक्विपमेंट्स. like many areas where we can save energy by fine tuning means हम लोग एक आप लोगों ने टीवी पे ऐड देखी होगी पीसीआरए की, पेट्रोलियम कंजर्वेशन रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट. बट दे आर सेइंग कि अगर आप कार को 50-60 की स्पीड पे चलाते हैं यू विल गेट द बेस्ट एफिशिएंसी. और इफ यू हैव टू व्हीलर यू कैन सी ऑन स्पीडोमीटर देयर इज ग्रीन एरिया. मीन्स अगर हम अपने व्हीकल को उस पर्टिकुलर रेंज में चलाएंगे यू विल गेट द बेस्ट एवरेज फ्रॉम योर इक्विपमेंट. So there are many fine tunings. Like if we say voltage, अगर आप सिंगल फेस इक्विपमेंट की वोल्टेज 210 215 मेंटेन करेंगे यू विल गेट बेस्ट ऑफ द आउटपुट. अगर आप उसकी वोल्टेज बढ़ा देंगे तो इट कैन स्टार्ट कंज्यूमिंग मोर पावर. अगर वोल्टेज कम कर देंगे इट इज हार्मफुल टू द इक्विपमेंट. So voltage optimization we are doing, pressure optimization we are doing. Sometimes we are giving excess lighting into some area, or sometimes what is happening, if you will see With one switch you can switch on all the lights in your conference room or in your meeting room or any common area. Now if you will enter that common area, for if you are alone, if you will switch on, 100% of the lights will on. If we have segregated that lighting into say 4 5 6 circuits, we can switch on that circuit where we are actually sitting. So there are fine tunings to many areas. Like in our household items, we are fine tuning the temperature of our fridge. In summers, we are making it maximum. In normal, it is normal. In winters, it is minimum. So many areas we are, like in ceiling fan, when it is cold, it is we are running at one number or two number, or optimizing the temperature of air conditioning based upon the outside season. So there are many fine tunings which are possible in the industry which can save a lot of energy. Technology upgradation. Technology upgradation means we change to some new technology. We are shifting our vehicles from diesel, petrol to electrical. That is change in technology. We are replacing our ACs with inverter ACs, which are consuming 30-40% less energy. That is technology upgradation. We are changing our normal CFL or incandescent lights with LED lights, which is technology upgradation. We are changing our normal desktop computers to laptops. That is a technology upgradation. Every time we are upgrading the technology, we will consume less power. आप में से बहुत सारे लोगों ने टीवी देखे होंगे पुराने ज़माने में, जो पिक्चर ट्यूब्स होती थी. Picture tube TVs are consuming 300 watts, 400 watts of energy. These days we have LED TVs with us. So these LED TVs are consuming only 40 watt or 50 watt of energy. So everywhere in every field, industries are working for technology upgradation or reduction of energy consumption. So when we discuss about energy conservation, every equipment or every work requires some theoretical energy to do that activity. मुझे कुछ काम करना है, theoretical कुछ requirement होगी. Like अगर मुझे पानी गर्म करना है तो फार्मूला इज mCp डेल्टा टी. m इज द मास, cp कोफिशिएंट हो गया, और मुझे कितने डिग्री पानी गर्म करना है. इफ आई कैलकुलेट, आई कैन कैलकुलेट द किलो कैलोरी एनर्जी, but it is the actual consumption is not equal to theoretical requirement. There are some unavoidable losses, there are some avoidable losses. So total energy input is theoretical requirement plus avoidable losses plus unavoidable losses. Means मैं जितनी इनपुट दे रहा हूँ, कोई भी इक्विपमेंट 100% एफिशिएंट नहीं होता. मुझे कुछ एनर्जी कंज्यूम जो हो रही है वो लॉसेस में जा रही है. कुछ लॉसेस को मैं अवॉइड कर सकता हूँ, कुछ लॉसेस को मैं अनअवॉइडेबल है, मैं उसको अनअवॉइडेबल है, मैं उस पर कुछ भी एक्टिविटी नहीं कर सकता. लाइक इन हाउस होल्ड, इफ़ यू आर हीटिंग समथिंग, इफ़ यू आर हीटिंग वाटर, तो जो आपका बर्तन है वो भी गर्म होगा. आप उसको अवॉइड नहीं कर सकते, वो अनअवॉइडेबल है. बट इफ़ यू विल नॉट पुट एनी थिंग टू कवर टू रिड्यूस, हम लोग बोलते हैं जो आपके रेडिएशन लॉसेस हैं, that you can avoid. So in industries there are many things which are avoidable, which are unavoidable. Some of the equipments you have heard about, pumps, might be in industries you are visiting, you have seen the pumps are being controlled by valve throttling. When we have to control the flow, valve throttling is avoidable. We can put VFDs, we can change the pump, there are options. एयर कंप्रेसर्स होते हैं प्रेशराइज एयर के लिए, उस वो लीकेज होती है उसमें, दैट वी कैन अवॉइड. जनरेशन प्रेशर वी कैन मेंटेन. कोई भी फर्नेस है उसमें रेडिएशन लॉसेस होते हैं. एट वन सर्टेन लिमिट वी कैन नॉट अवॉइड दीज रेडिएशन लॉसेस, बट एक सर्टेन लिमिट से ऊपर है, विद इंसुलेशन वी कैन अवॉइड दैट. flue gas losses. And so there are many equipment, many losses which are avoidable, which are unavoidable. So whenever we do energy audit on avoidable losses, we have to identify the losses, we have to quantify, we have to identify the ways and means to reduce and implementation. So whenever you do energy audit, whenever you go for some project like this, we should focus where we are saving, we can save energy, and what is the quantum of that saving in terms of money. Like if I will say you can save 2% of energy in your home, or if I can say you can save 10% of energy in your factory. So this is some percentage. So if I will say you have electricity bill of 10 crores in a year and you can save 10% of this, it means 1 crore. So everyone understand the numbers. So whenever you are doing or we are doing, we discuss energy saving in terms of money. Okay, like 2 crore, and to save these 2 crore, you need an investment of say 1.5 crore, and payback will be in 10 months or 11 months. So in energy audit, there are different types of projects we identify. Like someone have payback of less than 6 months. Means आपने जितना पैसा लगाएंगे, इंडस्ट्री जितना पैसा लगाएगी, वो विद इन 6 मंथ इट विल बी पेड बैक. कुछ मीडियम टर्म होते हैं 6 to 18 months, some are capital 18 to 30 months payback. So it is always good to save energy. It is reduction in carbon dioxide, environment pollution. Abhi Gujarat is the first state who implemented this rule that every industry should conduct energy audit every 2 years. They have to submit report to chief electrical inspector, otherwise there is a fine or their electrical connection can be cut off. So many governments are putting legislation. जो डेजिग्नेटेड कंज्यूमर्स हैं, लार्ज इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, दे हैव टू सबमिट रिपोर्ट टू गवर्नमेंट एवरी ईयर दैट हाउ मच एनर्जी दे हैव कंज्यूम्ड, what are the projects they have implemented. So every industry is now need a energy manager. So energy conservation field is very demanding. So Bureau of Energy Efficiency is conducting exam every year. After clearing that exam, we can become energy manager or energy auditor. And after some experience, 5 years of experience in energy auditing, you can become accredited energy auditor. So accredited energy auditor is like CA. We have many accountants, but chartered accountant stamp is valid for verification. Like, so we have many energy auditors, but accredited energy auditor have a stamp that he has verified the energy consumption. So government is forcing this legislation. So this is approximate, you can say, based upon many energy auditing experience. Different sectors have different kind of energy conservation potential. So these are the large industries who understand the energy, iron, fertilizers, textiles, cement. So these are the industries are focusing like how they can save, and they are continuously reducing their energy. But there are many MSMEs all across India which are lakhs in numbers. They don't have skilled manpower, they don't have engineers in their plant who understand the energy conservation. For them, production is the only thing which do. They don't understand like the same production you can do with 20% of less energy. So this is a very big number, 15-20% reduction in energy. This is a huge number. So with our experience, what we can say, any industry can save 5 to 30% of energy consumption. This type of potential is available each and every industry. Some buildings which we have audited even have scope of 50% of energy consumption. I think your university, if it is NAC accredited, there is also a rule for energy audit for every 3 years. So every government, every legislation is now focusing on energy, and if you do the best practices in your industry or in your areas, buildings, you can save 5 to 10% of energy only by following best practices. If further energy efficient equipments, you can further save 10 to 30% of energy. So that is based upon the experience we have from the energy auditing. So I will discuss for 10 minutes for some of the areas like in which you as electrical engineers you should have knowledge. Transformer is the most common equipment which you will see in the industry you are studying from the first year. Every transformer have some losses. Efficiency of transformer is in range of 98-99%, but this 1-2% energy loss is a very big when you see in overall industry perspective. इन इंडिया अगर हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया कि 3.5 लाख मेगावाट इज द जनरेशन कैपेसिटी, 6% ऑफ द लॉसेज आर ड्यू टू ट्रांसफार्मर्स ओनली. So 6% of 3.5 लाख मेगावाट इज ए वेरी बिग नंबर. सो पहले जो ट्रांसफार्मर्स आते थे देयर वाज नो रूल हाउ मच लॉसेज अ ट्रांसफार्मर शुड हैव, बट continuously scientists, engineers are working in this field to reduce the losses. So in 2014 government made a standard like जैसे स्टार लेबलिंग है, so government made a standard IS 1180-1 2014 for distribution transformers, in which they mentioned about 3 type of transformers: efficiency level 1, efficiency level 2, efficiency level 3, in which like they mentioned for a particular kVA rating of transformer what should be the percentage loss of that transformer. Like if I'll take example of first this 250 kVA transformer for efficiency level 1, at 50% load it should have loss of 1050 watts, means 1 kilowatt, and 100% load it should have 3.15 kilowatt. If we take some energy efficient, further efficient transformer, the loss will reduce at 50% and 100%. If we take further level 3 transformer, so we will have further reduced loss. So गवर्नमेंट डिफाइन के आप अब कोई भी ट्रांसफार्मर सप्लायर बनाएगा, इट शुड हैव मिनिमम एफिशिएंसी लेवल 1. यू कैन गो फॉर लेवल 2 एंड लेवल 3 आल्सो. आप लेवल 1 से कम एफिशिएंट ट्रांसफार्मर नहीं बना सकते. सो दिस इज द रूल गवर्नमेंट हैज मेड. So the efficiency, if you will see, the efficiency became 99.58%, 99.83%. So this is a very good step taken by the government. Okay, with reduced losses, the efficiency improved and overall जो transmission distribution losses है that are reducing in industry. So second important is the motors. Again, the motor are consuming 50-60% energy in industry. Sometimes it is 70-80% also. So again, motors have different kinds of losses. You will study in your academic, like there are copper losses, there are iron losses, there are friction losses, there are windage losses. So engineers are working to reduce these losses. They are making motors much more better than the previous motor. And again, in this field, government has made rules. Government has made motors as per international standards IE1, IE2, IE3, IE4 motors. So whenever you purchase motor, IE3, IE4 are the most energy efficient motors available. So these motors have same output, 7.5 kilowatt or 5.5 or 110 kilowatt depending upon your requirement. but these are motors are having less losses, so I require less input power to run these motors. So many countries has banned motor less than I2. In India also government is working if we should only now use I2, I3 motors, and there are many organizations in India who are working with industry to replace their old motors with energy efficient motors, and with this reduction they can save 7, 8%, 10%, 15% of energy. So this is another good opportunity in the industry. For your remembrance, you should remember I1, I2, I3, I4 motors. You can read more about these types of motor, how losses are less. So same if I compare 5.5 kilowatt motor, the initial efficiency was 85.7. Now with I4 motor, the efficiency is 91.4%. So same motor will consume approximately 7-8% less power when it runs, we will move from efficiency level 2 to I4. So these are the differences of I1, I2. Now another improvement in motor field is, you have heard about or you will learn about permanent magnet motors. These days motors which you are studying, in these motors what we are doing, we are giving three-phase current to the stator and EMF is induced in the rotor, and rotor poles are being generated, and on attraction or repulsion my rotor is moving, a normal induction motor. But in permanent magnet motor or BLDC motor, this rotor is permanently magnetized. We need not to magnetize the rotor. If I need not to magnetize the rotor, so there will be less copper in this, less copper loss. There will be less iron loss, less friction loss. So this is a new technology named as BLDC. This technology is being used in many household equipments like ceiling fan. Conventional ceiling fan was consuming around 70 watt. जो नॉर्मल हमारे घरों में 48 इंच का पंखा होता है, इट कंज्यूम्स अराउंड 70 वाट. द न्यू फैन विच केम अप, इट कंज्यूम ओनली 28 वाट एट सेम एयर फ्लो. दिस BLDC टेक्नोलॉजी इज बीइंग यूज्ड इन एयर कंडीशनिंग, इन्वर्टर एसीज जो हम लोग बोलते हैं. जो नई वॉशिंग मशीन्स आ रही हैं, सेम BLDC टेक्नोलॉजी इज देयर. न्यू फ्रिजेज आर कमिंग अप विद दिस टेक्नोलॉजी. आपके जो लैपटॉप हैं, लैपटॉप में जो फैन होता है, दैट इज BLDC फैन नाउ, बिकॉज इट कंज्यूम वेरी लेस एनर्जी एट सेम एयर फ्लो. सो दीज आर द न्यू lighting. I hope you have studied a lot about lighting in your curriculum. There are different kinds of lights. You have read about incandescent lamps हैं, halogen lights हैं, CFLs हैं, मर्करी वेपर लैम्प्स हैं, मेटल हेलाइड लैम्प्स होते हैं. बट दीज डेज LEDs आर मोस्ट एफिशिएंट लाइट्स. इनकी जो एफिकेसी है दैट इज वेरी हाई. एफिकेसी इज ल्यूमेंस पर वाट. इन LED इट इज 120-130 ल्यूमेंस पर वाट. जो नॉर्मल CFL है दैट इज 60 ल्यूमेंस पर वाट. जो इनकैंडेसेंट लैम्प होते हैं, जो 100 वाट का, 200 वाट का लैम्प, that is only 14 lumens per watt. So efficacy of lighting is improving day by day, and at same output, same lux level, we consume less power. So this is one example I have shown. Like if we remove our existing 36 watt or 40 watt tube light in our residence or in your college or in hostel, if you have normal fluorescent tube light, we can replace it with 18 watt LED, and with this reduction we can save a good amount of energy if we consume, if we're running for 24 hours, and payback is only 8 months. So these kinds of analysis we are doing. Now further, to use the natural lighting, there are kinds of light pipes. Industry is going optical fiber daylight. This is the new research going on. to minimize the artificial lighting to use the maximum natural lighting. So like industries, आप लोगों ने ऐसी कुछ पिक्चर्स देखी होंगी कि कन्वेंशनल लाइट्स को पहले हम लोग शीट्स लगाते थे या कुछ और लगाते थे तो उससे हीट नीचे आती थी. अभी जो शेड है उसमें डे लाइट्स लगती हैं. इट्स ए काइंड ऑफ पाइप, लाइट पाइप, तो उससे सिर्फ लाइट नीचे आती है, हीट नहीं आती नीचे. Many equipments in the industries are there, compressors. In compressors, there is opportunity to save approximately 30-40% of the energy by leakages, by removing leakages, loading practices, pressure optimization. There are many equipment. Pumping is again a very major area in the process industries. 70-80% of the energy in process industry is being consumed by the pumping. सो पंप्स में 20-30% का स्कोप होता है एनर्जी सेविंग का बाय ऑप्टिमाइजिंग द पैरामीटर, बाय पुटिंग द करेक्ट साइज ऑफ पंप, सिलेक्शन ऑफ पैरामीटर्स के मुझे कितना फ्लोर कितना प्रेशर चाहिए. सम ऑफ द थिंग्स आर वेरी न्यू टू यू, माइट बी इफ यू हैव नॉट हर्ड अबाउट, बट दीज थिंग्स आर वेरी वेरी नॉर्मल व्हेन यू गो टू द इंडस्ट्री. फैंस एंड ब्लोअर्स, उसमें अपॉर्चुनिटी है. These are the latest kinds of EC fan जो हम BLDC की बात कर रहे हैं. जो एयर कंडीशनिंग एप्लीकेशंस हैं या पेंट शॉप्स होती हैं, इन दैट लाइक वी कैन सेव एनर्जी अप टू 30% 40% विद दिस टेक्नोलॉजी अपग्रेडेशन. बॉयलर्स में like how much heat is going into excess air, how we can utilize that heat. आप लोग वेस्ट हीट रिकवरी के बारे में पढ़ोगे. सो हाउ टू कैलकुलेट एक्चुअल पोटेंशियल ऑफ वेस्ट हीट. विद वेस्ट हीट वी कैन प्री हीट समथिंग, वी कैन डू मैनी थिंग्स विद दैट वेस्ट हीट. फर्नेसेस में अपॉर्चुनिटीज. व्हेन एज एन इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर, व्हेन यू स्टडी द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल्स, might be you all are studying your household electricity bill also. So in industry we need to understand the electricity bill in which like we are charging the on demand charges or energy charges. It is in kVH or kWh. What are the benefits of power factor? In many of the industries there is a clause of TOD, time of delay, time of the day. Means when you are consuming energy in evening peak hour or morning peak hour, you have to pay more. When you use energy in night time, you will charge less. तो बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्री जो सिर्फ 12 घंटे या 8 घंटे काम करती हैं, दे स्टार्टेड देयर ऑपरेशन इन द नाइट आल्सो टू सेव ऑन द एनर्जी. इन इंडस्ट्री there are opportunities to study the contract demand, power factor, MDI. Like this is the analysis I have done for industry. Like what is their contract demand, what is billable demand. I hope you are reading all these terms. So this is very common in industry that industry people are using. So based upon this bill analysis, what is the per unit cost, what is the power factor we are maintaining. Power factor should be unity. If we will not maintain unity, how much fine or how much extra money we have to pay. So this is the recording of power analyzers in which we analyze what is the active power, what is the power factor, what is the reactive power. I am improving my power factor by putting up the capacitors, how my capacitors are behaving, what is how much actual kVR they are delivering. So all these studies you need to do or we are doing in the energy auditing. So like in this plant, what we found, this plant has power factor of 0.975. We can maintain power factor to unity. Some of the capacitors are not working. If we replace it or we put further better power capacitor bank, we can save energy. So what we calculated based upon the analysis, we can save roughly 5.5 lakh of an amount with investment of 7.5 lakhs, and payback is 17 months. So these kinds of analysis industry is looking for, कि how much energy we can save, what is the saving opportunity, what is the investment, and simple payback period where we can put capacitors. So this is the experience you will get in the industry, why power capacitors are failing, what are the reasons, it is due to aging or any other factors. If we need to select capacitor, this is the formula. If you don't need a formula, like this is a table in which this is on left side, this is the original power factor, right, this axis, this is the power factor you required, and based upon that you can calculate the factor, how much capacitors you are required. There are, see, if we in industry, if we see, there are three major factors whenever we purchase any equipment. We generally focus on the lowest cost. That is mostly in the industry it is happening. But we are doing one LCA, life cycle analysis. Life cycle analysis means we calculate the initial cost, we calculate the maintenance cost throughout the life, and we calculate the energy cost throughout the life. So a simple pump case study, if I say, if we have 11 kilowatt of pump, it is running for some hours, some days, and energy cost. So if I make a life cycle analysis, life cycle cost analysis, you will say 96% is the energy cost. Initial cost is only 1% of that equipment. So whenever we are choosing equipment, when you are buying equipment, you should buy energy efficient equipment. Second is the system efficiency and the equipment efficiency. In system there are many equipments, like in electrical system there are motor, there are transformer, there are cables. So every equipment should be efficient. Third is the energy monitoring and targeting. You should monitor each and every area, how much energy is being consumed, what is the target, and if it is more or less, you should understand these things. So even if you start monitoring, like in household we are using, okay, last month my bill was 2000, why in this month it is 2500 or 3000. So if we start monitoring, we can save something. So to conclude, energy conservation sector is a very good area in which any engineer can work. There is lot of demand of energy auditors in the industries. Many people are working in this field, doing a lot of good work, saving a lot of energy for the industry. Industries are also working in this field to save energy, to increase their profits, and many governments are putting their effort to save energy, and they are putting legislation also. So at academy level, at college level, if you are reading this subject, that is, I think, a very good thing for you. And thank you again, thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you very much, Manpreet sir. Thank you for sharing such a wonderful, such a wonderful knowledge regarding the energy consumption and audit. It will be very helpful for the last year students of diploma engineering as well as bachelor students also, and it will be very helpful, and personally, my point of view, I have learned a lot of things from your webinar session. Thank you very much once again, sir. Sir, there are some questions which have asked by our students.
Okay.
Shall I ask you something?
Please,
regarding
please,
the energy. Yeah.
please.
Okay. Sir, if I'm going to start, there is one question from Ayush Kittal, who is a final year student of the diploma, and he had asked the question that if he is interested to start up a low grade company, right? So, what are the steps uh, for energy audit he should be taken? What are the requirements for the energy audit?
Okay. So first of all, you should be certified energy auditor from Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So for getting that certification, there is an exam, like I mentioned, which is happening every year in the September, and the forms will be out in month of June. So for that, you should have BTech and plus 3 years of experience in plant or in energy. So that is the minimum criteria to appear in that exam. Then you have to clear that exam. There are four books from which that paper will come. These are very good book. It is available online on Bureau of Energy Efficiency website. Even if you want, I can email it to your ma'am, and you can circulate to all your students. So with those books, you will learn about energy saving opportunities in each and every area. In energy auditing, there are only two trades. One is electrical, another is thermal. So there is no mechanical kind of thing. So all equipment, pump, compressors, everything comes under the electrical trade. So you should be any BTech in electrical, mechanical, or any other field. You should have 3 years of experience. Then you can appear for the exam, and after clearing exam, you can start with the energy auditing. Energy auditing is more experience oriented profile. You should have knowledge about equipment, like how these equipments are working, what are the opportunities in saving. So with that certification, officially you can start your energy audit company.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. The another question, how to calculate the energy saving from heating
From heating
loss.
heating loss. Okay. See, when heat loss is there, like I'll take example of boiler. In boiler, there is some going on after combustion of fuel. So we need to calculate first the air flow के जो combustion के लिए हम लोग air दे रहे हैं, what is the quantity of that air in meter cube per hour. Then we need to measure the temperature of flue gas, जो भी exhaust gas हम लोग atmosphere में दे रहे हैं, what is the temperature of that gas, 250 degree, 300, 400 degree. Now base this, the simple formula is shared mcp delta t. M is the mass of air, cp is the coefficient, p delta t is the temperature difference. Means मैं 30 डिग्री या 40 डिग्री पे आई एम गिविंग एयर टू द फर्नेस और बॉयलर, एंड इट इज कमिंग आउट एट द 300 डिग्री. तो 270 डिग्री इज द डेल्टा. जो भी मेरा मास आएगा, जो भी मेरा कोफिशिएंट है हीटिंग का उसका, तो बेस्ड अपॉन दैट आई कैन कैलकुलेट किलो कैलोरी लॉस इन दैट सिस्टम. सो दैट now we can, that heat is sufficient if we use that heat in some other areas. If you have read about power plants, in power plants when this exhaust gases first preheat the water, then this exhaust gases preheat the air we are giving to the furnace. तो हम लोग वहाँ पे वेस्ट हीट रिकवरी ऑलरेडी करते हैं पावर प्लांट्स पे. So You remember this formula mcp delta T, mass into coefficient of heating into delta T, कितना temperature change हो रहा है. With this we can calculate.
Okay. And another question is like, is there any type of blockchain technology in energy sector?
See, there are many technologies. People are now working on IoT side, or you can say in industry 4.0. For blockchain, I have not heard anything. Might be it is available. I'm not sure. But on IoT, on industry 4.0, there are many things.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you once again on behalf of Electrical Engineering Department as well as Parul University. And thanks a lot, sir.
Right, ma'am. Thank you very much.